Okay, we have a problem. I'm upset. I am upset. I am mad at you. Yes, you. Yes, you that is watching me talk to you right now. You just clicked on the video, and I'm not just mad at you. I'm mad at you, and you back there, all of y'all. Because nobody told me to start watching this show a long time ago when it first came out in 2019, because I am absolutely loving it. Man, season 3 is about to start June the 29th on Max. It was HBO Max, but now it's Max. And I was like, what? I like martial arts stuff. I'm always trying to cover new things on my channel. So let me go ahead and give this a try. And I am glad that I did. Now, at this point of me recording this video, I have not seen season 2 and season 3. Season 3 ain't even out yet, but I have seen season 1. I just finished it and I am a happy camper. If this is your first time finding me, yes, I am B. Avery with Just My Opinion Reviews. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. If you happen to like this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Before I start gushing about how I feel about season 1 of Warrior that came out in 2019, I want to let you know that I will be doing weekly recaps and weekly lives for season 3. So if you like season 1 and you like season 2 and you like my take on things, make sure you subscribe because it is going down. Not only that, guys, will I be covering Warrior, but I am going to upgrade my YouTube channel into not just movie reviews and trailer reactions and lives and stuff. I am going to infuse more of the martial arts entertainment on my channel, whether that is a television show, whether that is a movie series, whatever, because if you know me, I love comic book adaptations, Marvel, DC, anything independent with superhero comic book stuff, I'm all over it. But I love martial arts too, just as much, if not better, but there's just not that much content out there. Now, I remember seeing episode 1 years ago when it first came out. I gave it about good 10 or 15 minutes and I did like it, but I fell off and never came back. But hey, rather be late than never. I also want to let you guys know that this is going to be a spoiler-filled recap review. The season been out years now, and so if you haven't seen it, you know, hey, go ahead and subscribe and watch it. But if you don't care about spoilers, go ahead and keep watching. We're going to get into this spoilery goodness. But this is a great show so far. I'm just saying, Warrior right now on HBO Max or Max. First of all, I love the show. There's only a few nitpicks I have here and there. There are 10 episodes. The only episode that I really didn't like, and actually I don't even want to say I didn't like, is it just was my least favorite out of them all, was episode 5. I thought that was a bit filler. It was still entertaining, but it really didn't do anything to push the story forward. I don't know why it was necessary. But other than that, is even the fighting in that episode, I mean, it was still decent, but you can kind of tell that a lot of the punches and kicks were telegraphed and choreographed. Now, of course, every martial arts scene in any medium, whether it's movies or television, it's all telegraphed for the most part, but you have to make it look real. And during that episode 5, you can just tell that they miss some of the finer points when trying to put that together. Still entertaining, but our main hero, Assam, I was like, okay, in this situation, there's no way that this person can get out of it alive or without being beat up. But that's just episode 5 out of 10. Okay, so 1 out of 10 wasn't the best, but that is okay. Also in episode 7, Long Z was trying to rescue his sister Mei Ling, and that's when she actually ended up murdering Long Z. That episode, the fighting was a little telegraphed and all that, but other than that, guys, I really did enjoy the show. And I like the tone, I like the pacing, I like it all. Getting away from the fighting, just to talk about the history for a second, I like that there was portions of this that was talking about slavery and what happened to this country after the Civil War. Me as a black man, African-American, black American, those are my ancestors that built this country. And so that really held a special place in my heart. We will not give up on our reparations. But this right here, this series, this show is picking up right after that. And you're kind of seeing how America is coming together. The white people and the dominant society that we're spending most of our time with is in the North. And some of the lines of dialogue during that time was very, very entertaining. I'll go down the character list in just a second, but one I want to bring up right now is Tom Weston Jones, who plays Richard Lee. He is from the South and he was escaping from the North, just trying to live a better life and get away from the horrors that he was a part of in the South. And I like the fact that he was like, hey, just because I was in the South and part of the Confederate does not mean that I agree with all of those people. Okay. I did not agree with slavery. You know, he fell in love with a black slave. And, you know, of course, there's a ton of mulattoes that was running around at that time, around like 500,000 or so. My numbers could be off, but they even got into the details as far as that's concerned. And I really did like that aspect of the storytelling. But most people here that wanted to watch this show and are excited about it is for the fighting and for the martial arts. And it does not take a long time for you to get there. At the very beginning of episode 1, as Assam is coming over, immigrating from China to San Francisco, he gets into a little squabble. And right then and there, you kind of get the tone and the vibe that this show is going to be delivering for you for at least 10 episodes. And I was highly entertained. I liked the way that he was recruited into the Hop Way, one of the most powerful tongs. That was pretty dope right there. The man can fight. He's not the best fighter in the world like some grand master martial arts kung fu guru, but he knows how to hold his own, and I love everything about it. Seriously. Also, with his sister that he's trying to save, Mei Ling, they resolved that story point at the end of the first episode. I thought that was going to linger on until about mid-season or the end of the season, but no, they capped it off like, hey, I know you came over here to visit me, but I am not the sister that you left in China. I got this going on. I got this going on. It is best that you get out of there. So already at the end of episode 1, I'm hooked like, man, what is going to happen next? How is all of this going to play out? How are we going to see all of these different groups of people clashing together of how they're trying to achieve power and dominance in this new land called America? There are so many different groups and factions. You have the Habway, one Chinese tongue, then you have Long Z's people, and then you have another group over here. Each group does have a great martial arts leader at the top that will kick your head off if you get in their way. And then you also have the white people too that take up the dominant society. Some are cool, some are evil, some are somewhere in between. And I like the mixing and the mingling of all of it. You got white on white crime, yellow on yellow crime, yellow on white, white on yellow. And when I say yellow, I mean Asian. But I did not know how this series was going to end. And I did sign up for the fighting, but I found myself even more entertained with the story and the politics just as much as the fighting, even the court proceedings. Our hero Assam does cross over the border. He does go over the county line into the dominant society's world and beats up some white people. You cannot do that. So with him having to go to court, I enjoyed that again just as much as I enjoyed the fight. I'm like, wow, I like how they're doing things in the 1800s. This is new to me as far as the entertainment aspect, and I'm really, really liking it. We also, the relationships, the sex, and the passion, all that. This is a hard R. I did not know that walking into this. We got a main character smashing white ladies that is married to the mayor. If they get caught up, like, what kind of mess is that going to be? I'm here for it, though, and I'm really entertained. This show is also extremely violent. Man, they will chop off heads, limbs, hands, body parts all over the place. And I'm loving it. And it was very, very unexpected. One character, he had him on the ground and was leaning on his back and pulled his hair back and just slit his throat open. And that happens at least once in every episode of this series. So if you're a little squeamish and can't handle stuff like that, this show may not be for you. And I have no problem getting down with the violence. But even myself, when I was watching, so I was like, God damn, y'all are doing it like that? That is pretty crazy, okay? I was not expecting that. So you have gore, you have violence, you also have sex. There are a number of people that are really getting it in this show, and you have a lot of passionate love-making scenes. When it goes back to the fighting, they have all types. They have weapons, they have knives, they have guns, they have just straight up hand-to-hand, one-on-one fights, and they have gangs versus this gang as well. As far as the gangs or the tones are concerned, I really didn't have a side. I didn't really care if I was on Long Z's side or the Hop Ways. It really just didn't matter to me. Both parties seemed kind of nefarious and evil at times. Even the white people, of course, too, the white supremacists. And I was just in it to win it. I just wanted to see some nice kick-ass action, and I got that for majority of this show in this first season. Just looking at some of the characters right here, Andrew Koji is playing Assam. He is the main character. I like him a lot. We got Olivia Chang right here playing Atoy. She is not just some Chinese whore, okay? She will come in with the sword, slicing your ass up, and I like that as well. We also have Diane Doane, and I'm probably butchering that, as Mei Ling. She was cool too. I did like her, but she was my least favorite character of them all. I'm not here to say anything bad about her, but she did not stand out as much as everybody else. She was a cool character, but I do like people more than her. Jason Tobin as Young June. I liked him a lot too. He was young and he was ambitious and wanted to live up to his father's legacy, but he will be good at that. He just needs a few more years under his belt of experience, and I think he'll be there for the job. Now, we also have Kiran Boo right here playing Bill. He is an interesting character as well. He is a cop that has a serious gambling addiction, and it does get him into a lot of heap of trouble. The thing about it that I like is just because you're a cop does not excuse you from getting your ass whooped. I like that too. He did owe one gentleman a lot of money, had to get Dylan O'Leary to come through and save the day. And the way that scene ended with Bill killing him, it really messed him up. Kind of a cowardly thing to do. I understand one side of it, but at the same time, I don't understand the other side. I do like the way they set it up with just a one-on-one fight. People got involved in this matter because they felt like people were betraying their own. Like, hey, what are you doing? You're trying to size up one of your own right here just because he owes you money, but you're teaming up with the Chinese. What's going on there? We're going to have to do something about this. It did get pretty dirty. Another favorite character of mine, my goodness gracious, is Dean Jager playing Dylan Leary. He was fantastic. And I'm so happy that we got to see the end of episode 10 in the way I wanted it to, with him facing off against Assam. I was like, man, I would love to see Dylan O'Leary fight Assam on a one-on-one fight. We only got a brief glimpse of it at the end of episode 10, like I said, but it was very, very satisfying because O'Leary can fight. And so can Assam. And I was like, man, I want to see them throw down. And we got that. Mr. O'Leary does, I don't want to say I'm just rooting for him, but he is still a good character in the show and lives by a code, especially communication. Like, hey, man, I don't care what type of jam you're in, what type of pickle, you need to come talk to me. Let me know so we can work it out. And he has that stance with a number of characters in the show. Sometimes they listen to him, sometimes they don't. If they don't listen to him, they're going to get their house burnt down or something else. And it is very, very entertaining. He is a very scary and threatening man in this show, and he does have the respect for all his surrounding peers. He is a good antagonist. I really do like him a lot, and I cannot wait to start on season 2 so we can see more of all the mess that he is going to dish out on the townspeople. Now, I don't want to leave out Langley Kirkwood playing Walter Buckley. He's a very evil character in my opinion too. I like him as a character because we know that people like this does exist in real life, but he's always trying to save money and get over on someone, and we're going to see if he's going to meet his maker in season 2. I don't know. You guys probably know, but I don't. We got to get to some of my other favorite characters over here. Hoon Lee played Wang Chao. He was just okay to me until the end of the season because we got to see at that point just how much control he had and will over the white people and the dominant society and the Chinese people and all the tongues and their subgroups as well. One person came to him saying, hey, and I think it was Bill, like, hey, I need your help. What's going on? What can you do? This dude put his hands in his pockets and was like, are you threatening me, Bill? He's like, no, I'm not threatening you. I'm just trying to look out for the situation. Oh, okay, well, I'll help you out the best I can. Also, when Assam lost the fight, towards, we're going to be talking about him in just a second, Mr. Sub-Zero. He's out there just trying to make $1 on the street. And the story that he gave, that he was a slave for 11 years and knew he wasn't a slave and never wanted to live that life again, my respect level for his character went up even higher. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. We got Christian McKay right here playing Samuel Blake. Mayor Samuel Blake, man, you got to get it together, man. Your wife is up here smashing the psalm. You got to get it together. Y'all, things are not looking pretty good for y'all's marriage. We're talking about, you know, Joanne Vanderham here playing Penelope Blake. She is married to the man right here, but she up here smashing Hassan, and that's pretty entertaining. But y'all, Perry Young, Father June, I will say hands down, he was my favorite character out of the whole show, out of the whole series. I absolutely loved him. He was the great boss, the great level 10. We got to get past this dude right here if we want to get to the top. He is the leader over the Hopway. I loved his character. He had his rules, he had his regulations, he had his code, and he stick to it. And when Assam fought Sub-Zero with Joy Townsend, when we get to that, when after Assam lost, he was like, hey, he's no use for us. Get him out of here. I don't want to have nothing to do with him anymore. He lost the bet to Mei Ling. But when they were going over all the details and showing the map and what the new territory was, before he put his stamp of approval on that, he was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Mei Ling. I placed this bet with you and I lost fair and square. And I will abide by it, but I don't like it. But I want to let you know, if for a second you do not adhere to this treaty that we're signing right now, I will come for your life and chop off your head. I'm paraphrasing. And then he just slammed the stamp down on the map and walked off. I was like, oh, that is a boss move right there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very, very, very entertaining. He was my favorite character. Even when Assam got arrested and he got out, he had to teach Assam a lesson, going back to like episode 3, episode 4, when he pulled out that wooden billy club and beat the hell out of Assam, and then they celebrated afterwards. I like that right there. I mean, Assam, look, we got you, but you can't be doing stupid stuff like this, going over like outside of our neighborhood and beating up white people. Even if you are defending somebody's honor, that's just not smart. And it's not. And so that's just another reason why I like this character. But y'all, we got to talk about Joe Taslim, Lee Young, who played Sub-Zero in the latest Mortal Kombat reboot. He was another favorite character of mine. He didn't speak much, did not have that much dialogue, but he was a force to be reckoned with. The first time that he fought Assam and Assam was cocky in the house of Mei Ling and he whooped his ass, I was like, oh man, Assam is good, but you're not better than Sub-Zero. You are not better than Sub-Zero. And I like that Assam lost. That just created more of a challenge later on in the series. Now, when they did have their one-on-one fight and they were setting everything up, that was very, very entertaining to me. But I was so surprised. I just knew that Lee Young was going to win the fight and just dominate Assam, but that's not what happened. He still won the fight, but he didn't dominate it, and that was very, very surprising to me. I just did not expect that. It was a very entertaining fight, well choreographed, and also, if you want to pay attention to the details, if any of the practitioners out there in martial arts, you notice that they didn't use their fingers at all. If you know how to strengthen your toes and your fingers to turn them like nails, I mean, this takes years to do to where you're strong enough to rip bark off trees and stuff like that. That opens a whole new realm of possibilities in the way that you can attack and defend against your enemy. They didn't do anything like, because there's no, in advanced martial arts and kung fu, there's no such thing as grabbing somebody's arm or grabbing them on the body. Your fingers are going to be strong enough so you can rip into their flesh. And so, I mean, there are old Shaw Brothers kung fu movies that have all that, not just Shaw Brothers. I mean, there's old movies that they do have that in there. But I did notice that in their fight, and I was just kind of saying to myself, okay, how are they going to top this in season 1? And now we're in season 3. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Even at the very end of the season, we got to meet Dustin Nguyen, who's playing Xing. He was over another Tong group, another Chinese group that really put Ma Ling in her place. I think that he can beat Lee Jong and Assam both at the same time, the way he was whooping up on the other cop and put him in the hospital for a week. But y'all, this was great. There was so much fighting in this show. It was so much great story, so much great character, so much to talk about the development of America. Power is going back and forth between all these groups. I could talk about this season 1 to the end of time, but maybe not that long, but I really did enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe so you can get all of my content and all of the other martial arts movie reviews that I will be having up on my channel. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, but that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and help me reach my next milestone of 50,000 subscribers. And also leave a comment in the comment section. If you do subscribe, this is what you're going to get: movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, series reviews, Secret Invasion, I'm just a show that I'm covering right now on my channel. superhero comic book news, a weekly show, and also a weekly movie news roundup show, some trailer reactions and interviews as well. If I had to rate this first season out of a 1 out of 10, I'll probably give it like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. I loved it, and I cannot wait to talk about more martial arts greatness with you guys. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.